this the current lease that we
It is the
have?
current
This
lease.
is the current one that we just
There's
signed?
a current lease that was signed 10 years ago,
Okay.
but there's been an addendum recently.
Yeah, the amendment y'all approved last month, I believe, or
Takes
month
the,
before.
that reduces the price, and it's for 5 years. They're entitled to the first 10, but they paid for the whole building to be constructed in the first 10. Our last payment on medical center, is this month. Our last payment on medical center. And their last payment of $22,000 up. After that, it starts going to $1,900 a month. Okay.
Plus maintenance costs.
Plus maintenance, right. And that's the way we've been doing it. And they've chosen, I think in the addendum as well, that they want to continue doing exactly what we're doing. They had an option of paying $3 a square foot or the actual cost, and we just do the actual cost. The amendment said we can do it as much as every month, but I don't know if that's necessary for us to do that. Just get the grass cut or in February and nothing's done on it. Send it bill out. Take a look at this thing. I'm going to,
So it says we will still own
the equipment.
the equipment.
You would own the equipment and they would have to turn it back into the town in the event that the lease was ever terminated. But the one question I have is, I'm not a computer expert, but I can tell you, my computer works fine, but Josh says it's just ancient and, you know, decrepit and, my God, how are you using such a... what is computer equipment worth after 3 or 4 years?
Nothing after 2 years. Nothing.
It's all, I don't know. I gotta figure
Slow,
this one out a little
like
bit.
You sell it to somebody out of South America, a third world, sell to a third world country that has nothing, it'd be better than nothing, but.
Well, I've got a third world laptop, I think, and Josh is very critical of my computer, but it works. It does what it needs. No recommendation requested. I'm just giving you a heads up notice. And I think what we need to do is sit down with the folks from Balance of Course and just go over this thing. Again, the section about the $80 a square foot and the hiring of Odell architects, I think is behind us. I believe is behind us. But the $18,000, I don't have the optimism for that. Okay.
Thanks for that is actually
All fun, all the time.
$18,000. I mean, so where are we coming up with? I mean,
Sound good it was coming to us, huh?
my goodness.
It's going out, it's not good.
Shall we do
All right.
that now?
Greenview Cemetery. Greenview Cemetery. I have attached for you, and Barbara called me this morning about this as well. And I've got a letter prepared to go to the county. This is the code section. In the state code, section 10.1, 2211.2.
Is one over here?
Yeah, you've got it in the back of your packet. Should be the last couple of pages. Right behind that.
It's the last 2 pages.
There is a disbursement of funds appropriated for caring for historical African American cemeteries and graves in the state of Virginia. Okay. Greenview Cemetery, if you're not familiar, is east of town on Rocky Bump Road. I guess when it goes in the county, it becomes Rocky Bump. It's not, a portion of it is definitely not well maintained. My concern about making application for this really is because there has to be an interment that we can confirm between 1800 and 1900. And I don't know if that's the case out there. And I don't even know who would have the records of that out there.
Would there be any stones that would have the dates on them?
I think that's what I gotta do, just start walking out there and see if we can find some old stone that potentially has a date on it. Most of the stones seem a little more modern, but I was thinking there may be some folks that are buried there that were at Pickett that maybe got dug up and moved as part of the Pickett program.
I know the family, but they all always lived away from here. So I don't know how much they know.
There's a couple other things in reading this pretty closely this morning. One of the things I would have concerned, there would have to be an ownership of the property. I don't know if these folks would want to give up the cemetery, but there has to be a 501c3 that would be the owner of the property. And I think you'd almost have to create
And it says $5 per
grave.
grave. Does that mean per grave in that time period or per grave amongst the whole cemetery?
I would think annually, per grave site.
All of them, whether they're yesterday's graves
Right.
or 1900 graves.
It just has to be proven that there are
There's one in there.
one in there before 1900.
So if the church wanted to buy it,
Then yes. it would be feasible because they're
Yeah, you're
501.
501c3.
Mm-hmm. Cause most of the members are from Shiloh.
If you
people
guys
out there
were to
from
take
Shiloh.
possession of it, I think there's a way, if we can find a headstone in there that says 1899.
Yeah, that's the first step is
Mm-hmm.
finding
Gotta
a
do that.
headstone.
And then there are state funds that can be made available. And it, again, for those watching on TV, it's section 10.1, 2211.2. Disbursement of funds appropriated for caring for historical African-American cemeteries and graves. This is what Wayman and I found in the state code. Again, this is not an obligation of the town, but I do think at a minimum, maybe we can assist with,
Would you say there's 500 graves in that cemetery total?
I don't think it's that much.
I don't think so either.
No, I would say it's a couple hundred. A couple hundred that are visible. Now, there may be more down in the woods that, you know, that really didn't have any memorial or marker put on them. That may be the case, but I don't think it's 500.
Well, I mean, you look, I mean, just say if there were 300 and they give you $5 or average actual cost. So it sounds like it could possibly be more maybe. I mean, that's $1,500 a year. That could get the cemetery taken care of.
Yeah, it's once a year.
I mean, no, that'd be
What,
more.
is it a
than-
one-time deal, or is it every?
No, I think that's an annual.
No, that's annual rate.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe we can be a vehicle, if nothing else. Not take the financial responsibility on, but be a vehicle somehow to help Barbara's church become, you know, an owner of the property, help with surveying costs, something. Excuse me, but that's not the proudest thing in Nottaway County, if you haven't been in it. And it's not the town's fault, it's nobody sitting here's fault. But if we ignore it and don't at least try to find some vehicle to make it better, then maybe we are local. Before we do anything else, I would like town council, and Jennifer reminded me today that town council has already said to send county a letter. But I want you guys to be aware of what we're doing,
Sorry,
and
I'm
sending
watching.
them a letter, and asking them to participate. Who knows, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but that letter will be sent out tomorrow.
Well, who
What we
can,
have to do.
who has enough knowledge of that cemetery, Barbara, to go in there and
I would say Michael Hawks is probably the most.
see if we can
knowledgeable.
find one that's,
Michael Hawks, Gene Williams, Mr. Claiborne would have had knowledge of it too,
can
but
you
he's
talk
not.
with them and see if any
Yeah.
of them know
Yeah,
of a certain grave in there, or, I mean,
yeah, I think he
I don't
would
want to
know.
send Philip on a wild goose chase in there because he doesn't know anything about it really.
And I don't either.
So,
But I will ask some of the older people, like Gene Williams, Deacon Claiborne, he would know, but he's not of mindset
Yeah.
now to.
Who's the Williams fellow? You said?
Eugene used to be the postmaster at one time.
the one that lives on Hungrytown?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
How about Miss Wynn?
Now she might know a little something too. Yeah, she
See,
might.
Let me mess with it a little bit and see if we can come up with something. We've talked about it a little bit more, but I had told you that there was a potential for a state assistance. That's the potential for the state
Right.
assistance.
That's
Okay?
good, thanks for your research on
I mean, even if it, like I said, even if it's $1,500 a year, I mean, you could get I mean, just because I'm in the business, $1,500 a year would do a decent job.
How many times do you cut it a year?
I don't know exactly the size of it, but
I think the first time
you
is
could-
gonna be
Oh,
yellow.
the first time would be, but you could go in there and probably cut it 15 times a year, like with
For $1,500?
1,500. I mean,
You got a lot of stones and stuff you'd have to go around.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff. The first time, man, there's a lot of flowers that have been thrown over and piled
I'm
up, and
sure.
old memorials and stuff that have piled up.
now that wouldn't be going in there and clearing graves that have been overtaken by. I mean, that would be keeping the grass cut that's open now.
But maybe the first time you can get volunteers.
Volunteers,
Or-
The
correct.
first time's gonna be the stinker. That's cleaning up and cutting trees down and doing stuff. And
Well, what about, I've seen one or two graves over there where the trees have grown up like in the grave.
yeah. I
Can you
think
mess with that?
logically, that would be cut
You
down.
can just cut it flush with the ground,
Flush it. It doesn't disturb.
disturb
Yeah, there
anything.
may be people that are buried in there without vaults and
And
things.
that's
May
probably
very
what,
well just been, you know, pine boxes or stuff.
Most of them probably don't have vaults, I would think,
yeah.
over there.
All right, we're
That
working
far
on
back.
it. You guys okay with that?
That's
No problem?
good, thank you.
All right. Last item
I'm
is
glad you mentioned Ms. Wynn, I'll ask her.
a request to go into closed session to discuss disposition of real property.
Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Thompson,
You can stay down.
Nash, closed
You got a hot date?
session.
You can stay for it.